What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. I'm once again joined by Tyler. We are here for our first video on our Mandalorian community series, a community series that's going to air on our channel every single Friday. We're very, very excited to get started. This is a show that's obviously premiering on Disney Plus on November 12th. We're going to be watching it. We're going to have loads of videos leading up to it, like I said, every single week leading into it. And then once it actually starts coming out, we'll be doing reviews. We'll be talking about future episodes. I think this is going to be really, really fun, especially with the episodic releases, to be able to discuss every episode. It's already renewed for a season 2. They're already filming that or working on that right now. So lots of awesome things in regards to The Mandalorian. And, you know, if the title wasn't enough proof, Tyler and I are very, very pumped for this. And in this video, we're going to talk about why we believe The Mandalorian is going to be better than The Rise of Skywalker. Really, we're going to talk about why it's probably going to be better than this new trilogy we've gotten over the last 5-6 years. And again, you know, these are videos that are meant to be for you guys as well. These are a community series. We want to hear back from you guys, so we always want to hear what you guys have to say about a topic in the comments below. If you guys want us to cover anything Mandalorian-wise, let us know as well. If you guys want us to cover anything once the show actually gets going, we'll be doing that. We'll be, you know, watching your comments as well. So lots of Mandalorian stuff coming up. So Tyler, looks amazing. You and I are both really, really big fans of that trailer, of really the premise and how they're doing this show. And we both do definitely believe that this is going to be better than The Rise of Skywalker. Why do you think that?
Well, I was watching the trailer. Actually, I watched it a couple times to make that intro that you guys just saw. I was watching it again when I was talking to Alex before we started this, and all of a sudden my brain, it's like all these lights for the first time in my whole life just turned on. And I was like, oh my God, I figured out why The Mandalorian actually looks really, really good. I'm not going to say amazing. I kind of feel like it does, but I don't want to hype myself up. I think it looks really, really good, and why I think it looks so much better than Star Wars Episode 9, it all clicked. Because in the Mandalorian trailer, just the trailer alone, I feel like, I feel like it's because of the physical, like the sets and the physical, it feels like very little CG. In fact, I feel like one of the very few CG things, obviously, is the lasers coming out of the guns, but I think that's an AT or something, I believe, in the one scene. And I feel like that's almost it. Everything's very practical. The aliens, the makeup, everything. You feel like you're part of 4, 5, and 6 again. And because of all those practical effects, and I also want to kind of call it, I don't even know, like kind of like grungy. I'm not really sure. Yeah, sort of like grungy. It just doesn't feel as clean, I feel like. And it might be partly because we don't see his face. He's covered by a mask. It's not like a pristine mask. There's the other female protagonist. I don't know if it's an ally or what, but her face is a little bit dirty. I feel like because there's that dirt and there's that grit, I feel like that almost feels more like Star Wars 4, 5, 6, just because I feel like that's more of what because of the Empire and things aren't that great. I feel like it just feels right for some reason. Where when you think of Star Wars, the new Star Wars 7, 8, 9, everything's so clean. Rey is constantly clean. Everybody's constantly clean. She lives in a desert, or she's in a desert or whatever, and she's in white, and it's like very clean and perfect. And I don't believe there's dry cleaning. They never showed us alien dry cleaning. So, in fact, they never even showed us a shower, so that's interesting too. But I don't know. It's just there's something about how the practical effects. Not that the new films don't have the practical effects, but they do seem to use a heck of a lot of CG in the newer films, and there's no denying that. And I was saying to Alex, what's crazy is when you think about Galaxy's Edge, one of the biggest complaints that we have, but a lot of people have, is it's empty. Not so much, I mean, it is empty through the park visitors, but empty as in Star Wars. It's got the structures, sure, it's got the blue milk and the weird green milk, and it's got the merchandise and whatever, and it's got Kylo Ren sometimes. What does it miss? The concept art showed that there was going to be aliens walking around. There's going to be real ones from space. There was going to be droids rolling around. it was going to literally feel like you were part of Star Wars. You were in Star Wars. Supposedly that's going to be in their that Star Wars hotel. The name has left my mind for a second. Supposedly that's going to be there. We will see, because they said it was going to be there for Galaxy's Edge, and it isn't. So when you think of that, and then you think Galaxy's Edge doesn't have Vader, Galaxy's Edge has Kylo. That's because it's based on the newest trilogy. You look at the newest trilogy, just like I was talking about, and you think of literally just The Force Awakens, and you try to think of all the times that it made you feel like it was Star Wars, and you eliminate the Millennium Falcon for a second, you eliminate Han Solo for a second, and Leia's, she's not really even in it that much, and whereas it's not really Star Wars, because you don't really ever feel like you're in Star Wars, because every time they kind of put you in a position where you can feel like you're in Star Wars, everything's moving so quickly that you never even have a chance to take it in. You have the only opportunity, in my opinion, is when Rey is trying to get food on Jakku, and you're surrounded by the aliens in the shop, and it's like, okay, this feels like Star Wars. The next time you're in that area, it's Rey and Finn. They're on the run because there's stormtroopers coming, or First Order troopers coming from them. So they're running through that second chance to feel like you're in Star Wars. Because otherwise, remember, Rey's in the, she's like in the desert, and she's just kind of searching stuff. She's by herself. That doesn't make you, when you isolate a character, they could be anywhere. It doesn't make you feel like it's exactly Star Wars. It could just be a desert. It could be a Earth desert. So when you get back to that place and it's Rey and Finn and they're running through, you don't get a chance to take it in. Then they run into the Millennium Falcon. They take that. Now you're in the Millennium Falcon. Nostalgia, yes, but CG mainly. They go to what? They go to a different ship. And then you're in the weird ship with the Han Solo part that didn't need to be in it. Now you got Han Solo. And then you eventually make your way to Maz Kanata's place. That's the second time that you kind of sort of feel like you're in Star Wars. But then Rey goes off because the lightsaber's calling to her. Then all of that stuff happens and the First Order comes. And then if you remember the film, it's like, yeah, you know what? There really isn't many times you feel like you're surrounded by Star Wars. Rey fights Kylo, like at the end, on the snow planet. It's literally Rey and Kylo and Finn, but one gets kind of knocked out, and then it's Rey and Kylo. They're by themselves. When you have two human characters in a forest with snow on the ground, does that make you feel like you're in Star Wars? No. Think of Episode 8. The majority of the film of Episode 8 is all on a spaceship, or a couple different spaceships. You really, and Luke and Rey on the island. Again, could be just an island. It doesn't make you feel like you're in Star Wars. And they even changed the blue milk to green milk, which, again, that made no sense. So I feel like when you look at these films, the newer films, it doesn't feel like Star Wars. And then when you look at, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. When we're done with this, my rant's almost over. Go watch the trailer for Episode 7, like the final trailer for Episode 7. Go watch the final trailer for Episode 8, and then watch the trailer for The Mandalorian. And I think you're going to see there's a striking difference. And I really, truly think it's because there's not a focus on the world, the Star Wars world around the characters. It's almost like it's too much about, and this is going to sound strange, but it's almost like I'm going to correct myself in a second. It's almost like in these films, it's too much about the character rather than the world that they're in. Now, obviously, it has to be, because that's how you have stories, right? But when you look at The Mandalorian, for some reason, it feels like, although it's surrounding this character, it somehow still feels like he's part of the world, not the world is added. And I feel like when you look at 7 and 8, and even kind of 9, just based off the two trailers, it feels like the world is added after the fact. And I feel like for The Mandalorian, it's like, here's the world, these are the conditions, the Empire has fallen, things are kind of now, it's the Wild West, so now we're going to have this guy, he's a bounty hunter, he does his jobs, but there's no kind of law, he's an outlaw, the world's kind of in an outlaw state, so now we're going to form a story around that. Where I feel like that is why it works, the practical effects is why it works, that grunge and that dirtiness makes it and even the music, that's the other thing, the theme doesn't sound very hopeful, it doesn't sound overly like dreary or negative. It kind of is like a neutral theme. It was a great theme, but it's a very neutral theme where I actually feel like that also adds to it because it could go either way. He's an anti-hero. He could be good. He also could be bad. It's a very neutral world in this, this for this story for the Mandalorian, where every time you see, the Star Wars trailer, there's a little bit of like dread, but there's always that hopeful Star Wars theme with the trumpets. And I feel like another reason, and this is my last reason, for why The Mandalorian looks better and will likely be better than The Rise of Skywalker is sometimes, look, it's the 9th Star Wars film. I do like Star Wars a lot. I've said many times I enjoy the games and I enjoy the concept better than the films. They never seem to be able to adapt what a great, in my opinion, the greatest story potential and the best world in film. They never do it. They never do it. I feel like The Mandalorian may actually do that. But I feel like the problem is we kind of already know it's going to end hopeful. That's the thing. We already know Rey is that spark of hope. She's the new Last Jedi. There's hope. Maybe she can reach Kylo. Like, we've been following the story. We know that there's hope. And you hear the theme at the end, like when they show the logo for the trailer of Star Wars Episode 9. And it's kind of this nice, soft, I don't know if that's a piano or what, but it's a very nice, soft melody almost. It feels hopeful. When you watch The Mandalorian, it's more like, ooh, I don't know. I can't get a reading. I might go either way. Maybe he's a good guy. Maybe he's a bad guy. And who doesn't root for a bad guy sometimes? Look at Breaking Bad. People love Heisenberg and Walter White. People love a good bad guy. Joker. There's a lot of examples. People love a good bad guy. I almost feel like because we've had hope for almost too long now for Star Wars, like knowing it's going to end, this is the last one, so it's going to end on a happy ending. I feel like that almost takes away from Episode 9, kind of unfortunately too, where the sense of, I don't know, makes The Mandalorian almost so much more appealing. But that's my take. Let me know what you guys think. But do what I said. Watch the final trailer of 7. Watch the final trailer of 8. Heck, even throw in the latest trailer of Episode 9. And then watch The Mandalorian. And I think you're going to see a big difference. And you might even pick up on the same cues that I did.
Yeah, I agree. When you watch it, and like you said, there is just a huge difference in the style. The style of The Mandalorian is 100% different than a lot of the stuff we've seen of Star Wars really in decades. Even the main problem with the prequels that a lot of people will say also is the visual effects to them. That's very, very true. It was just all green screens, all backgrounds that were CG'd in. And Mandalorian looks real, like you're in it. And like Tyler said, that Wild West kind of feeling where everybody's out to get you and you're never really safe, and kind of be just the way it's shot, the way the camera is shot kind of closer in. And it does look more gritty. It does look more grungy. And that's exactly, that's the style that, is that exactly what episode 4, 5, 6 were? No, but it's more reminiscent. And you could say, well, the new trilogy is trying to do something different, and that's fine, and they can go their own direction. That's totally cool. But there's just something, and there's a reason why 4, 5, 6 have stood the test of time. And yeah, Star Wars will always survive and stand the test of time. But I feel like if you're looking at any of them, I really feel like in a weird way, 1, 2, 3 are going to hold up more than 7, 8, 9. Even though 7, 8, 9 kind of, at least try it, especially with 7, to go the more, let's remember back to the old days and stuff like that. But there's just something about, I feel like all these trilogies that, 4, 5, 6 are always going to be able to hold themselves up because of the way they were shot. And I can still watch them now. And yeah, it's kind of that thing where like, well, you have to have been back there to really know how groundbreaking it was. There's still that problem that like our generation will never be able to fully understand. But you can still watch those films and have an amazing time with them because they still hold up. And to me, the new trilogy is going in a different direction while also trying. We see a lot with 9. We've talked about the leaks and stuff, and we know that they're definitely trying to bring back George Lucas, and they're really relying on the past with Palpatine and with the Emperor. So they're trying to do episode 6 pretty much again. We know JJ tried to make 7 like 4 pretty much, right? So they are trying, and they're trying while also trying to go in their own direction. But there is just something missing. There has been something missing in episodes 7, 8, 9. There are just a lot of problems with this new trilogy. And when you look at especially where 9 seems to be going, especially if it turns out to be a disaster of an ending, but I really think The Mandalorian is just going. It's not going to be for everybody. I think it's going to be for those really serious Star Wars fans. But I feel like you're going to hear like, man, the film making of this, like how it's shot, the character development, the stylistically, it's going to be top of the line. It's probably going to be the best thing that Disney Plus has for quite a while. I think. Yeah, like you look at like Loki, you look at like Winter Soldier and Falcon, stuff like that. I think WandaVision, the way that stylistically is going, I feel like that is really gonna be truly special. But in terms of like visual effects and the way they're doing it and trying to make it more real and groundbreaking in that way, I think The Mandalorian is pretty much going to be on its own and at its own level for a very long time on Disney Plus. And like the title of this video says, really Star Wars. I feel like not just 9, it really has the potential, and we could be going overboard here, but I think right now it has the potential, and it's got me more excited than a lot of these movies have in the past, and I think it's got the potential to be better than almost every single Star Wars movie. Now, I loved Rogue One, so I shouldn't say all of the last movies that we've gotten from Star Wars have been bad, but I really think The Mandalorian has a really good shot at being one of the better Star Wars properties ever. They got great talent casting-wise, they got great talent making it, so overall, we're very, very excited for the show. Like Tyler said, let us know in the comments below. What do you guys think about this? Do you think it's going to be better than Episode 9? Do you think, where do you think it's going to rank in Star Wars in general? Let us know. Again, make sure you guys subscribe and hit that bell icon because these videos go up every single Friday leading in to The Mandalorian releasing on Disney Plus Episode 1 on November 12th. We'll be watching it. We'll be talking about it, throughout the entire season. So we're looking forward to doing that. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you all in the next video.